Good morning and welcome to this edition of Money O Motion video blog. This is Dan Perkins and thanks for listening. I want to talk to you this morning about what happened at the British election yesterday and the implications for us in the U.S. As you may know by now, the Brits decided on a vote of about 52 to 48 to leave the European Union. And as a result, the markets around the world are selling off, including the U.S. markets. Interest rates on our treasuries are falling dramatically. The 10-year dropped almost 1/4%. The 5-year similarly almost 1/4%. The flight to quality. It appears that the Dow is going to be off between 500 and 600 points at the opening this morning. Could sell off a little more than that. But I think there's a lot of chaos in the markets, and as a result of this vote, investors are going to sit back and kind of wait and see, and I think that's probably an appropriate situation for us too. I do believe that there are implications to the U.S. election as a result of what happened yesterday. I found it fascinating. If you sit there and I watched the BBC last night, and I closed my eyes and just listened to what was being reported. And the issues that they were talking about was borders, illegal immigration, jobs, the economy, stagnation as far as wages, all the things that you hear going on in the United States about what's happening here. So I think that the message was clear from the European vote last night that there was a clear split between the everyday man and the intellectual elite and the government's leadership. The people have rejected the idea that they're tired of the fact that they've asked the government to make changes year after year after year, and the leadership has ignored what they want to do and proceeded to do what the government wants to do. So I think that has significant implications to the U.S. election. And I think that Mr. Trump and probably some of his followers will get reinforced and re-energized at the vote in England. I do think that this may be, and I know this is a little melodramatic, but I think this may be the end of the EU, or at least the beginning of the end, because I think there were other countries, Spain, Portugal, Italy, and France, who were looking at very hard about leaving the EU, and if England went, they might be close behind them. So I expect to see more votes, more discussion about more and more countries leaving the EU. So as the British declared that today was their Independence Day, I think that other nations are going to look at the unelected central government in Brussels dictating to what's going to happen into their countries. The rebellion is probably going to continue to grow. As a result, you could see the ultimate collapse of the EU. And in addition, I think that you will also see the collapse of political correctness in Europe and begin to wonder how quickly it will have a similar fate here in the United States. A lot of uncertainty in the United States as a result of this vote, and I'm not really interested in jumping in dramatically into the markets. I will look as the markets open today to see if there are some unrealistic opportunities, probably in the preferred stock area, and I may look to put some of our recent cash with the redemption of one of our preferreds, put it in the market again. But I'm going to be very careful, take my time, and I'm not going to expose you to undue risk. I think we're in for a volatile time, continued, perhaps even more volatility than I originally thought, between now and at least the election and probably after the first of the year. I have more on this later, but right now I just wanted to get something out to you quickly. This is Dan Perkins, and thanks for listening.